A beautiful dawn breaking here at Djuma Game Reserve. Welcome to South Africa, welcome to our sunrise drive this morning. My name is Mark and I have Brian on camera with me this morning, and it's a little bit chilly. It's probably only about 15-16 degrees Celsius, maybe about 60 degrees Fahrenheit. We're sitting at Gowrie Dam and we're about to head out and follow up on some leopard tracks that I saw on the way down here. And I think it might be the Queen of Djuma. It does look like a female leopard that was walking past our accommodations last night. Well, Brent and Wiem are on the other vehicle. We'll catch up with them a little bit later, but in the interim, join me as we explore this wonderful part of Djuma Game Reserve. I'm going to start. I just need to chat on the radio about these things. I see somebody's going in the direction I want him to go. Just to keep in mind, I want him to know where these cat tracks go. A few bleeps and bleeps. Lex, good morning.
Go ahead.
Alex, looks like these English cross down if you want to keep a lookout when you go onto Central Road.
I'm just going up Gowrie Pipeline now. I'm not going to walk away like Central.
Okay, copy. Now I think she might come out maybe around Gowrie Cutline Junction or even just before, and maybe she's gone up Gowrie Cutline.
Copy, Mark.
The other thing is that when I was here where the tracks they left the road, it looked like there could have been some drag marks. I want to just go back to that and have a look. Clear blue skies, looks like we're in for a lovely sunny day. It's quite typical for this time of the year actually. Throughout the dry season we very seldom do get clouds. It is mostly sunny skies. Well, following Fireside Chat last night, a lot of messages coming in. Thank you to all of you who are sending messages. I really appreciate it. I haven't even read a fraction of them yet. I'll get onto the web this after drive today, in between drives, and get onto those messages. If I can answer all of them, I'll try. Something on the animal park. There are also elephant tracks heading south from here down towards two dams from the Gowrie Dam. Nothing anything. Be interested to know if there is anyone who was zooming last night, if anything came down to the water. If you did see anything, please send us a message. Either email questions@wildearth.tv or just a tweet to hashtag Safari Live to let me know if there has been anything at the dam and perhaps what time it was.
In front, Jimmy. Anyway? What's your name? Yeah, we're in Liverpool, right?
Finding tracks on very, very hard soil is a little bit difficult sometimes. I'm pretty sure that she went in here somewhere. Perhaps a little bit later I could go for a walk in there when we're saying hello to Brent. For now though, we'll just head down to Dams Road, see what we can find. Maybe Lex will pick something up on the other side of the drainage line if she could come out there. Otherwise she's down there in the drainage. Is coming down to Dams Road.
Sorry, go again. There may be a left line where? Morning, guys. And whoopsie, welcome on the Sunrise Safari. My name's Brent and I got VM on camera with me today. What a beautiful morning. I mean, look at this. We're so lucky to be able to wake up and this is our job. Isn't it fantastic? I'd like to welcome everyone. Really excited to have you with us this morning. Hopefully we're going to find some tracks. At the moment, VM and I are following some lion tracks. Quite strange lion tracks because I'm not sure which lions they belong to. As far as I know, the Nkuhumas are quite far to the north of us, but these lion tracks are coming in from our west. So we're just having a quick look around here and to see what's going on. It is very confusing. I did have a report from Doug, who's in the western sectors, that there was a pride. I'm not sure which pride that he thought might have crossed into us, but then they found them again last night. So I'm just double checking that these tracks aren't that same pride that sort of looped in and out. So we're going to check very carefully around here, but quite exciting. I mean, it's always nice when you sort of bump into tracks in the area you're not expecting to see tracks at all. So for those of you who might be new viewers, we are live. So you are watching the sun come up here in Djuma Private Game Reserve in sunny South Africa, and hopefully we're going to find you guys some animals this morning. Also, we are interactive, so while we are out in the bush, you are able to ask us questions about what we're seeing, and you can do that by emailing us on questions@WildEarthTV, or if you're on Twitter, you can use the hashtag Safari Live. As you can see, quite cold, got the mitts on, but it's definitely going to warm up as the sun comes up, and there's not a cloud in the sky. Another wonderful winter's day here in the Lowveld. There's been a lot of elephants around here. There is a dam quite close by, and they're making seeing these lion tracks a little bit more difficult. There's big elephant paths in this area. I'm going to check all of them really carefully. See the lion tracks quite far down that path, so they have crossed our northern boundary, but we're going to keep checking this way. They might loop back and come back across. It'll be quite interesting to see what these tracks do, because the Nkuhuma pride were in this area not that long ago, so if this is a different pride, they will definitely sort of smell the other lions that have been here, and whether they're going to sort of quickly disappear back west or if they're going to hang around. It's difficult to see. There's probably only about 4 or 5 animals, so a smaller pride than the Nkuhumas, and they probably wouldn't want to meet a pride of the Nkuhuma size, because they would probably definitely lose the fight. Just checking very carefully. Another big elephant path here. Oh, and just about to go through a little dip, so we might experience a little bit of signal breakup, but I'm going to shoot through it quite quickly, and hopefully it doesn't break up. Summer months, when guinea fowl are breeding, they'll split off into pairs to raise chicks, but as it gets drier, they form flocks, and then up in the high veld of South Africa you can get flocks of several hundred. Biggest flock I've seen in this area is probably around 60 or 70, maybe even as close to 100, but this is definitely the biggest flock I've seen since being here.
Mark coming.
So they're quite feisty in the morning. You can see that one running, those 2 running closest to us there. If you have a look, the one at the back, you can see there's a juvenile, 2 juveniles there. So they haven't got that full helmet color. There's another one there. But by the end of winter, they'll look identical to the adults.
I will join you shortly if that's possible.
Quite good to just sit down, switch off, enjoy those first early morning rays of light, and listen for alarm calls and even possibly vocalizations of the bigger predators. And then you can see we're on the edge of the boundary, and there's Sydney's Dam to the left. That's why there's all these really big elephant paths in this area. As they're coming down to this water point, it's going to become all the water points are going to become very important as we move further and further into the dry season. But it's such a stunning morning. It gives me so much excitement and joy just to be out. We're going to continue on. It looks like these lion tracks have not crossed back, but we will keep checking. a nice big flock guinea fowl like this, it's like a perfect predator alarm system. And I'm quite sure while we're in this area, even if we're a distance away, we're going to be able to, if they spot a lion or a leopard, they will let us know, by causing quite the cacophony. Slightly warmer than it was yesterday morning, so there seems to be a bit more bird activity a little bit earlier. I mean, just before sunrise, while we're having our cup of coffee, the francolins were making an absolute din, but not alarming at anything, just calling for the joy of the morning.
Morning stations, Portwood.
Give me a second, I'm just going to chat to the other guides on the Game Drive radio for a second. Lex, you copy? Oh, we've got a nice little flock of birds off to the left here, if you don't move too far. Mark, do you copy? So, there we go. Quite often referred to colloquially as the Seven Sisters. I'm going to see who out there can tell me what bird this is. So start you off the bat, getting some IDs going. So who can let me know what birds these are? Quite often referred to the Seven Sisters because they are very often in flocks of 7. And you can send your answers to which bird this is to questions@WildEarthTV, or you can use the hashtag Safari Live if you're on Twitter. Lex or Mark, do you copy?
Lex, can I join you, please?
So guys, I just had a little birdie in the bush told me that Mark has got something quite exciting and interesting for you guys. So we are going to pass you over to Mark to see what he's got. And I'm sure it's going to be a really nice surprise for everyone. And we will catch up with you a little bit later on Drive.
Morning, Lex. Did Quill have arrived last night for that?
I think he heard me talking about him last night. Welcome to World of Leopards, everybody. It's fantastic, absolutely wonderful. I'm going to leave you to identify this magic cat while I try and get a closer look with my binoculars. He's going to be walking towards us. But it sounds like, or rather it looks like he's listening to something down in the drainage lines. I hope we're going to lose him. I thought we'd get him walking here. Let's go forward.
everyone. I hear you guys have had a really great but very short, exciting sighting of Mvula. Unfortunately, the area of Mvula is a really bad signal area, but he is moving, so he will move out of that area. So don't stress, you're going to get back to him, and we apologize heavily for the technical difficulties, but he is down towards the drainage line, which is a really known bad signal area for us. So we're still checking the northern boundary. I've sort of got fingers crossed that we're going to find lion tracks coming in again, but no luck so far. I also heard that Mark had tracks of a female leopard down towards the central part of the property, so I think if we don't get any luck here, we'll go see if we can find that female. So, I know you guys are still dealing with a bird question, but yesterday, let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. I know I put it in the car somewhere. So we've got a very specific big pile of dung here. It's quite spread out, but you can see, if we go a little bit tighter, how much big pieces of grass are in it. So definitely grass in there, but not very heavily digested. And then if we come across to the dashboard, I have a few little things here. So we have three let me move them across so it's away from the steering wheel. Three very distinct pieces of feces. So we were chatting on the Sunset Safari last night about ruminants and non-ruminants. All three of these over here are ruminants, and the one we looked at on the ground is not a ruminant. But I'll take a piece of this one. Oh, it's very hard. There we go. So if we break it up, we can have a look how finely chewed everything is inside. Let's try to open it up a little bit more. So there, you can see how fine that is. Very little big pieces, as opposed to what we were looking at on the ground, which was very, 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 very large pieces. So I know you guys are dealing with a bird question already, but if we come out, we've got three ruminant stung on the dashboard here. So we've got a very small one, and as you can see from size, if I put my finger there, it's tiny. So we're going to ask, what are the dung? So we've got very small one, a slightly bigger one, a much bigger one, and then a monster one off the vehicle. And that's very fresh, so I'm not going to come put that on my dashboard. But who can figure out which four different animals the dung belongs to? And you can do that by sending your answers to questions@WildEarthTV on email, or you can just use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. So you're going to sit quietly and listen for a few seconds. It is a really important time to use your ears in the bush. I mean, it's always important to use your ears to try hear for alarm calls and stuff, but in this sort of hour before and the hour after sunrise is when quite often your lion and your leopard will vocalize. And I haven't heard a leopard calling for quite a while. absolutely fascinating sound. It is, the best way to describe it is possibly like someone sawing wood. You imagine two guys on one of those big old saws going. That's sort of what a male leopard or a female leopard sounds like. The way to tell really the differences is the sort of depth. The male leopards tend to have a sort of deeper and louder call than the females. But at the moment, all I can hear is one lonely rattling testicular. Them in this tree right closest to us. Disappeared. Oopsie. There was. Oh, well spotted. There's a communal spider's nest.
Can you go, buddy, give me an update on that combi? On Galpo. I'm trying to see somebody there. Can copy that, Roy. What's your lock now? I can copy that. If you see him, will you tell him one more thing? 47 now.
Well done to Judith and Joanne, who were the first two to get the bird answer correct. It was a white-crested helmet shrike, quite often known as the Seven Sisters, because they are very often in flocks of 7, although you do get bigger flocks from time to time, but very, very, very common to be in a flock of 7. So we're just going to listen for a little bit longer. I'm just listening to the game drive radio. So, for those of you who might have joined in a little bit late this morning, Mark is busy following a male leopard in this drainage system over here where we have very, very poor signal. So we're just sort of holding the fort for Marcus till that male leopard moves out of the thickets in that drainage line and where there's bad signal into a good signal area. So we've been playing a few games. We've already seen a bird that was identified as the white-crested helmet shrike, which is number 2 over here. And really nice sighting of them, a little flock of them in the early morning light. And at the moment we are playing with poo. So we've got a couple of different dungs here. We've got 3 on the dashboard, a very small one, a slightly bigger one, and then a much bigger one, even though the individual pieces aren't that much bigger, but quite often they're collimated. And then off to the right of us, we've got a very large pile of feces, and that is very spread out. The 3 on the dashboard are ruminants. This is not a ruminant, but it is obviously a very big animal. Good morning, Dance Anyway. Welcome on the Sunrise Safari. Dance Anyway is just wondering, in order of size, is the Steenbok Impala, and I'm guessing, I don't know whether it's this or the one next to us being Cape Buffalo, but so Dance Anyway, you've definitely got the first 2 correct. So we've got Steenbok and then Impala. Sorry, not Steenbok. I'm lying to you guys. This is actually Duiker, grey Duiker, and then we have Impala. And then this is not Cape Buffalo. It is made up of smaller little pieces that are cognate. This is blue wildebeest. But I'm not going to answer what the big pile is yet. I'm going to wait to see if anyone guesses correctly. It is a non-ruminant, the big pile next to us. So made by one of the bigger animals. But the secret is that it's spread out, is the sort of clue. Well done, Ellen and Matthew and lots of other people. It is definitely hippo dung. The reason we can tell it's hippo dung is because it's spread out. Sometimes you do find it in sort of boluses like you would with elephant dung, but hippos will often, male hippos will use their tail, and as they defecate, they like a sort of windscreen wiper, but it spreads, instead of chasing the water away, it spreads the feces around. Quite interestingly, it's used as a territorial display in water, but outside of the water, hippo are non-territorial, so it's just sort of a habit that the male hippo will spread its dung like that. So there we go. So we had duiker, impala, wildebeest, and hippo. So we're going to continue on, see what else we can find. Oh, we're going to... Hi, Tammy. Welcome on Sunrise Safari. Tammy is referring to that spider's nest we were looking at earlier, so we're going to go in a bit closer on it. Tammy said it looked like there was a dead mouse inside there. I did not see that, Tammy. I think that's possibly just a leaf that has been put in as part of the nest when they were building the spider. And Tammy would also like to know what is inside that nest. Well, Tammy, I can't see. I'll be back in 2 seconds. I'm just going to wander over there and have a closer look to see if it's an active one or a non-active one. And then I'll explain exactly what's inside the nest. So Tammy, it isn't active. I don't see that many, but I saw one. What I'm going to try do now is get the vehicle much closer to it so we can get a close-up with the camera and we can have a look what is made up of that nest. It's quite interesting. I'm going to start explaining now. There are lots of little chambers where the spiders will be living, but also because they're quite effective little hunters, there's quite a lot of how's that? I'm going to try to see if we can. It's difficult with the sun where it is at the moment, and I can't really get around to the other side of it. But if we look very carefully, maybe let me move a little bit. I'm trying to show you this. On the edges and that, there's quite a lot of sort of exoskeletons of beetles and insects that the spiders have caught. Let's try from the side. I have to jump out quickly just to point out what I'm referring to. It's going to be quite difficult to see, but if you have a look there, you can just see there's little bits of beetles and other insects. and you can see the little tunnels that the spiders use. Obviously, with us making noise near them, they've retreated to the safety of inside. But guys, really exciting news. I've just heard that the leopard has moved into a stable area. So we're going to cross across to Mark really quickly. Sorry guys, false alarm. He's gone down into a drainage line again, and that has caused the signal to drop. But don't worry, Mark is on it, and he is staying with that leopard till that leopard goes into a better signal area. So we're going to leave the spiders and carry on to see what else we can find. Okay guys, it seems like we're back up with Mark, so we're going to rush over to him quickly and we'll catch up with you again just now.
Well, dropped down into the drainage line. It took a little bit of waiting, but he's finally come out down here now. He's going to notice that he's obviously Morning, Mvula. I'd asked viewers to guess who it was, and it's an old man by the name of Mvula. He's about a 10-year-old cat. Now I'm going to have to try and move so we can follow him. And we might, I don't know if we're going to hold on to our signal because we're down in the drainage line, but we're going to try. See if we can keep up with it. Interesting stuff. This is a place where once upon a time I had in Djuma, and the previous male who used to live here, in fact the previous male's name was Mvula. This Tamboti area was one of his most famous haunts for hunting and feeding amongst these Tamboti trees. And they had both him and his son. Right, where did I come through now? There. Hope I can find my way back to these ones. We had both those leopards on the kill. No, this is not where I came through. It's over there. What's this Tamboti, right? Everything good? Are you alright? You okay? Yeah. Okay. He's opening up, and there he is. Wonderful cat. Interestingly, Karula's tracks were coming this way down past Quarantine on Wahlberg's Nest Road, and where that enters this drainage line, it's sort of directly south of us, and he is heading in that direction. So it'd be interesting if they have been communicating with each other, and if he is maybe going to meet up with her. I don't know. Very casual cat. Clearly been having a fight with somebody because he's got some sort of an injury to his eye, very similar to what might have happened with Karula's mother, a cat by the name of Safari. She spent probably the last, I think, 8 years of her life with only one eye. And of course it will either heal or he might lose it. I haven't had a good enough view of it. I haven't been able to see it well enough to establish whether he's going to maintain his sight in that eye or how bad the injury is. We picked up the trail of something. Picked up the scent of someone. Maybe another cat.
Did you enter before did you from the Cheetah Catlan or Rana Catlan?
Rena and Lynn had a couple of tweets wanting to know if I have any idea what might have happened to his eye. Most likely a fight with another cat. He is in sort of a pressure cooker of leopard territories here, with big males around all over, and he's possibly come into contact with another cat. He's found something to eat. There's a scrub here that he must have stashed, or someone must have stashed it, that he's found. I don't know whether he maybe picked up the scent of it or he did leave it here. And he's just picked up a scrub here that he must have stashed or someone else stashed. Actually licking the hair off of the scrub hair. And what's interesting is that it was actually stashed there. He's taking all the fur off first. He's going to have a small meal this morning. I wonder who would have left it there.
Looks like he's got to kill them.
No, there's a scrub here that he's just picked up now.
Really?
It was under a bush just off to your left, and I don't know if it was, I doubt whether he would have stashed.
He's eating a scrub head now. Did he catch it up?
No, he picked up the scent. There's a pathway that goes up there.
Yes.
And he picked up the scent of something, sniffed around, and then he found it under a bush there.
Dead?
Yeah, and it had a little bit of the hind chewed off of it.
Wow.
Gives us a chance. You can see that he's keeping that eye closed quite a bit.
Yeah.
We're sort of in a really awkward spot here, and we can't go forward or back. So it's about the best view that we've got right now. I wonder if it could have been a smaller predator that maybe killed it during the night, or maybe a bird, maybe an owl. There are giant eagle owls that live in the big jackalberry not far from us right now, and I can't imagine a leopard killing a scrub hare and leaving it, especially being such a small prey item. There would be no reason to leave it, and if they were going to leave it, they probably wouldn't leave it under a bush. I know that we have seen a lot of the leopards, especially Karula and even Mvula himself, making kills and stashing them under bushes and then coming back to them later on. Yeah, I can't say he's behind bushes. I can't get any photographs from my angle, so I'm going to have to rely on some screen caps that you might get. We can have a closer look at that eye.
That's right.
It looks like that eye is completely red. Which would mean that maybe a claw got into it.
Yeah, or maybe something like a servant or something might have been feeding on it and ran away from it. Or a bird of prey.
It didn't look like there was any rigor mortis in the carcass. I don't think it's a very old carcass. So he's plucking it at the moment before he eats it. It's probably a lot of work for such a small meal. But leopards, being opportunist the way they are, doesn't like that hair in his mouth. Blah, 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 blah. But leopard are these unique cats that can subsist on a diet of much smaller creatures than what, say, lion would require. That's the skull that he's eating now. Question from Sabira, one of our zoomies, wanting to know if a slender mongoose could have killed this rabbit. Well, firstly, it's a hare, not a rabbit. Semantics. Well, not quite. There are distinct differences between hares and rabbits. But no, I don't think it's a slender mongoose. It is much smaller than the hare, and although it's not impossible, I don't think it's likely. I think because the slender mongoose is more diurnal, the hare is a nocturnal creature. Their paths don't cross too often. Although scrub hares sleeping at the base of a tree likely to maybe be sniffed out by a mongoose. I'm not seeing many other injuries on him.
What about grass seeds?
No, I don't think so. The blinking and that looks quite deep in the eye. I can't even get a good look, unfortunately, because this little jackleberry is in the way for me.
Are you quite sure he didn't catch it? You saw it.
Yes, no, definitely it was dead because there was already some feeding on the rump. Giant eagle owl?
Yeah, maybe something that...
Serval?
Or a small bird of prey that couldn't lift it up into a tree.
Yeah. Also, scrub hares make a bit of a noise when they're killed. Would have heard that.
Yeah.
Scary. Some of the people chatting saying he looks very thin. What do I think? I don't think he looks very thin. I think maybe he's... You see, when cats haven't eaten for a couple of days, they do have that gaunt look about them, but I think he's still quite healthy. He's obviously had a fight at some point. In fact, viewers, if you could all let me know, when was the last time you actually saw Mvula? I think it was with Brent, maybe. I'm not sure when the last time you saw him. We haven't seen him since I've been back from leave, which is just about 10 days now. 9 days. So we need to find out from maybe some of the other guides.
Predators, we were just talking about it now, predators are pretty much opportunistic. So when if it's walking through the bush like this, with the duiker, impala, kudu, or scrubber, or bird, or something, I'll give it a go.
What happened with it's just interesting. Had a story yesterday, was the
Yeah. So very much so. So if he's sitting here and with the father still in the tree, and he's lying under the tree and a duiker comes along, stalk it. So there's been a phase.
Diane's saying maybe he got swatted during mating, causing the eye injury. Rosie was saying maybe he ran into a branch. I don't know about the branch thing. I think they're pretty, with all the whiskers that they have, those help to protect them against those sort of injuries. Not impossible. I'd say the more likely scenario, maybe being swatted while mating. That is a very strong possibility. So it's either through mating or fighting perhaps that this could have occurred, but it is all speculation unless somebody actually saw him either in a fight or mating or whatever the case. It could have even been in a fight with a warthog or a fight with a prey item. An impala could have got kicked during a kill. There are a number of possibilities, but of course we will never know. I'm just going to ask Lex, who's behind us, because I think they might have seen him yesterday. So I'm just going to chat to him again and see if it was like that.
And it's also, it is about the opportunistic behavior. The leopard is always, and any predator is going to be opportunistic because it's not that easy to make it.
Easy punched for.
So, you know, when it's one kill in every 8 days, you have
his back is going up, he's sort of punched over it.
Lex?
Yeah.
Did you see him yesterday at cruise camp?
No.
Oh. No. So he was there evidently. One of the camps.
Well, yes, Nigel said they saw a big male leopard, but I don't know that they know for sure which one is which, but they saw a big male leopard. We had his tracks. His tracks were, those tracks going across into Belfast yesterday afternoon. That was him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I'm just wondering if when he was last seen, if he had the eye injury the last
time I saw him was 2 weeks ago when I was here, and he was fine.
Yeah.
I don't know when you last saw him.
Well, I was on leave then. I've only been back just over a week. I haven't seen him since I'm back.
It happened in the last 2 weeks, definitely.
Yeah.
And I don't know who last saw him.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to ask around.
Because you know, Mark, there's that other big male leopard that we saw at Jordan's dam. The big guy, probably as big as Mvula, with a nick out of his right ear. And that guy, we've seen him at Jordan's and at First Rock. I'm not sure where else he's been seen, but that could be the guy they saw at Nigel's camp.
Yeah. notice how as he looks at us he closes his eyes. It's a very typical cat gesture, most of acceptance, and also clearly not a challenge or even a worry. Even domestic cats are like that. Well, I call it softening of the eyes. Whenever a cat looks at you and it softens its eyes, you know that you are accepted by it, and it is not threatened by you at all. And often it's I will always, on foot or even in a vehicle, when lion or leopard or cheetah make eye contact, I will always soften my eyes back. Unfortunately, the camera will.
I'm going to just try and change my position.
I can try and go back there.
I'm going to try and. Okay.
I'll try and go back here, and then.
Okay.
I just need to move because we're in a place with pretty much only one vehicle view because the narrow angle of the site. We need to move just a bit. Log. Or otherwise, try and get up here. Can you still see him? Look. Otherwise, okay.
What do you want to do?
I don't know, I'm kind of stuck because if I go even a centimetre forward, then the leaves block my camera.
Okay, I'm going to just see.
But I can try.
You could try and push it a little bit further.
Well, otherwise I can just try and go up there. When the dust settles, I think that was the last of it.
Are you okay there, Mark?
Yeah.
Thanks.
thorn in my face. Love it. And that was it. That was a scrub hare. We'll see. It probably hasn't filled his tummy very much.
Intestines that shape wild. It's not a good thing. That's the best thing.
Interesting that he's now covering the last little remains that are there. Covering his tracks, hiding the deed. And he goes back to the drainage line. Michael, morning Michael. Mike Moss, over there in California. Mike saying that his father in Tombela, who lived to a ripe age, also only had one eye. And hopefully we can follow him still some. We're sitting at a really strange angle. I don't know if it really comes across from the camera, but the vehicle is sort of sitting at a very tough angle. Obviously tough for Brian, but we'll try and get back to him shortly. We just have another vehicle behind us. Oh no, the spike thorns.
We get a picture of Mike impaled. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome. See if we can follow him some more. Maybe he's got some more surprises under bushes. Okay. And be careful. And do it. Lie down. Maybe get a nice picture or two of him. Gonna probably do what cats do after a little bit of a meal. We'll probably end up doing a bit of a cleaning session for us. Thanks, Ryan. That was good. Well, I just got in a message from Nancy in Washington saying that the last time he was seen was the 23rd of May on Nkoro, and he didn't have an eye issue then, so it is fairly recent. Thank you, Nancy, and others who have mentioned that. Missed it.
Because when you came walking across
Morning, Lewis. Lewis is in Buffalo. Oh. I think I had a good look there. I think it's just the corner of the eye.
yeah, or like it's like that. You know that membrane that comes up.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't open from.
I don't think he's going to lose his sight in that eye. Lewis in Buffalo, New York was wondering if it's going to affect his hunting ability. If he does lose the sight, what will happen is that, of course, stereoscopic vision is affected, and so judging distance does become a little bit of a problem, but it doesn't affect them to such an extent that they will starve. I mean, there have been many single-eyed leopards that have lived for many, many years. Karula's mother safari is one of them. Then there was evidently his father, Ntombela, another big leopard from down south, which is down, I think, in Lion Sands right now, a place where Mike Moss also spends quite some time. I had a little bit of a look when he came right past me now, and it appears that it's maybe just the membrane, that membrane in his eye rather than the actual eye itself. And I'm guessing that he's not going to lose his sight, and it will probably heal in time. He's making his way towards Central Road, and we might be able to follow him through here, but it might be an idea to get out onto Central Road. Okay, looks like Lex is going to do that. I have followed elephant through this spike thorn thicket. Oh, I can just smell a leopard now. Very strong scent of a leopard. And we're not going to get through there. Maybe get through here. Sometimes I think that an elephant, if a herd of elephants can get through there, maybe we can too. Not always the case, but it's a bit narrow, but I'm sure we'll make it. Catherine in Texas wanting to know if wildcats, big cats, have probably just turn these people off. Do wildcats have the same problem that domestic cats have with hairballs? Yeah, not only their own hair, but obviously the hair of the animals that they eat, because cats do not digest hair and bone, so they do regurgitate a hair pellets with hair and bone and hoof. And off he goes, Central Road. I wonder if he's going to carry on up the drainage line, or if he's going to go up the road. I think he's going to carry on down the drainage line, to be honest. Oh, wonderful to have spent so much time with him this morning. Let's see. Through there. You see him, Brian? He's just gone past that.
No.
Into more of a tambuti thicket now.
Yeah, but it's, yes, that's right. Like furry balls.
I got a feeling Karula's in there somewhere.
Yeah, because the tracks were going in there.
Came down past, down the Wilberg's Nest, and at the junction with Twin Dams Road came in.
And you know, when Aubrey was tracking him yesterday, he seemed to be following Karula's tracks. Is there a way in there?
There is, here, there's an old, you know this old pan here?
Yes.
There is down there. See if we can go in. Might be interesting. Might be anything. We don't know. We've got to try. Well, it won't be the end of the world if we decide to. If we can't find him, we decide to carry on elsewhere. But for now, let's take getting in. I don't know if we'll get into the drainage line there, but we'll get into the drainage line where that drainage line joins the Mulwati. Brandy, gosh, wanting to know if I ever went into a riverbed where there were some green acacia thorns before they hardened and whitened. I tied a knot in them. Oh gosh, Brandy, I can't even remember where that is. I wish I could. But I do recall doing that because I've done it a lot. Because those lovely big thorns of the acacias are just modified leaves. So as they start growing, they are very, very soft. And you can bend them and shape them so that when they actually grow, they become very, very hard. And so when you bend them and shape them, they'll harden in that shape. Bend me, shape me any way you want me. So, are we going to find him again? That is the question. Mvula. Is that a little skull there on the ground? What's the piece of the vertebra? Over this little bump just right behind that, and just this little hump, we've got a little ridge here that is just blocking our access there. Maybe not. Maybe get into this drainage line and wait, see if we can find our way to where the other one comes into the cities and the water up ahead. I've been in here before. I know that we can't get too sort of too far sharp down this drainage line, but we can try. Have a look. A little bit further south from where it would be, where maybe Karulas or that other set of tracks came into the riverbed. So here's the drainage line. Hello Marianne, I'm sending a tweet wanting to know if we're near the tree where Karula lost her cub, if we could have a look how things have changed there. We aren't at the moment. We've come a little bit too far southwest of there. And I need to answer the radio. and we can just wait here and see if he's going to come out. Lex, you were calling? Look at that beautiful jackalberry. Giant bonsai. Once again a waiting game. See if he's going to come out this way. While I'm waiting, I'm also going to try and position myself. If he does come into because he's supposedly coming down, or he was coming down this drainage line just off to our left, and this is the main Mvula River. We're in a fairly open patch here, and it's a good place to wait because of the cross rivers. And so I'll hand you over to Brent, say hello to Brent and VM, see what they've got for you, and I'll see you in a little while.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm glad you've been having such a fantastic sighting with Mark and Mvula. We've been checking the whole sort of eastern area. We did follow the track of a female leopard, which is possibly Karula, for quite a long way. Unfortunately, she crossed east out of our property. So we've now come down to the area around Twin Dams, just to have a look what's been going on here, and quite quiet at the moment from our side, but as we say that, some excitement lands next to the dam. Great go away bird, going for a drink. We'll see if we can get a nice visual of it now. Sneak across to the other side so not to disturb him while he's drinking. There we go. Quenching his morning thirst, or her morning thirst. Quite nice to see them quiet and not screaming at everyone.
Stand by.
Very peaceful scene here at Twin Dams. We've got a red-billed hornbill in front of us that's excavating buffalo dung, looking for grubs and other insects that might have laid eggs in the buffalo dung. He sifts through. So what he's doing is actually going into the soil under the buffalo dung. So what will happen is quite a lot of different insects would lay their eggs in the dung, and then once the larvae and whatnot have finished feeding, they will sort of burrow down into the sand below the dung, and that's where they'll sort of go into the pupa stage. So he lifts up the dung and then he digs into the sand, sifting through there to see if there are any pupa. Oh, guys, this is quite a nice special sighting. It's not often you get such good sightings of them, especially not coming down to drink. Very beautiful bird, exquisite sort of colouring, and I want to see if anyone can guess what type of bird is that. You can tell me which bird this is. You can send your answers to questions at WildEarthTV. Or you can just use the hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. I don't know if you saw the way he hopped there. It was very distinct. It doesn't look like he's very comfortable. Oh, and off went. Quick drink and off. It didn't look like he's very comfortable walking on the ground. And there we go. There's another Very beautiful little bird. We did see one yesterday afternoon for those who are on the sunset safari at Red Dam. It's a little 3-banded plover, almost completely associated with water. So you will find them amongst on the edge of all sorts of water in the bush, and all different sizes as well. I've even seen them on sort of puddles during the rainy season. Foraging away. That beautiful reflection. Let's see if I can try a snapper. A shot of that. So beautiful. Oh, now I don't get the full reflection. I was a little bit late. Well done, George Ann from Illinois. George Ann was the first to get the ID African green pigeon. Very interesting from the pigeon family. I'm just going to find a picture of it quickly for those who might have missed. And it is the only member of the sort of pigeon and dove family that has zygodactyl feet. And what that means is it's got 2 feet facing forward and 2 feet facing back, which is very much a parrot trait, and they feed very much like parrots. They are fruit eaters, so they will move between all the fruiting trees in the area. There we go, on the right page. I'll just find them. There we go. Number 4. And if you have a look, you can't really see the feet too well there, but even in their body shape and that, and their beak, they've got a nice little hook on the beak, and that's for opening up fruit. Very, very beautiful, beautiful bird. Definitely one of my favorites. And if we have a look there, you can not the best in the picture, but you can see it's got 2 with feet facing forward and back, and then if you have a look at sort of any of the other doves, you can see there's not really clear, but there's three toes facing forward and 1 facing back, and that's for a bird that will spend a lot of time walking on the ground. So the green pigeon is very adapted to grey go-away birds just literally flown right over our heads and landed next to the vehicle to come have a drink. It's amazing if you sit quietly next to a waterhole in the early morning or in the late afternoon, all the different birds that come down to drink, not only the animals. Very peaceful here at Twin Dams, enjoying some of the avians. There we go, off he goes. And you'll find, if you look carefully around, and especially in that tree, you'll find a lot of birds, the go-away birds and doves, at this time of the morning, especially after a cold night. A lot of them will be sunning themselves, warming up before they sort of head off foraging. So I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 go-away birds that I can see. Hi Aurelia, welcome on Sunrise Safari. Aurelia is saying she's never seen the waterhole so low, and she's been watching the live drives for about 4 years. Aurelia, this is my first couple of months in this particular part of the Sabi Sands, and it is quite dry, but we did have a little bit of late rain. But when I worked in the Sabi Sands close on 10 years ago, We did go through another time where it was very, very dry, and in the bush you do go through wet and dry cycles, and it's very important for the bush to have both of those, is because it helps different parts of the bush recover. Or we might find that because we've been going through such a wet cycle, we're getting a lot of bushes and stuff growing on areas that should be grassland. So now a nice dry cycle like this, you'll get the elephants and that really flattening out those bushes and opening it up again. So it's quite a interesting time, and we do go through cycles. Sorry, 1 second, Vim. At the base of this little thicket on the left there's a woodpecker. So if we zoom in there, hopefully there we go. It's a bit difficult to see which woodpecker right now. We'll see if he comes around, gives us a better view. I don't know if you guys can hear the tapping. It's all happening on the avian front around Twin Dams. We're just going to stick with this woodpecker for a bit, see if we can have a better view of his head so we can see if we can identify it. Very special adaptations the woodpeckers have to be able to bang away at a branch like that. See if it's just in the shadow there. I don't want to move the vehicle in case it gives them a fright, but I'm hoping we'll move around to the lighter side. Let's see if I can get a shot of the head. The head's quite important when it comes to identifying woodpeckers. Just in the brief glimpse I got, and judging by the size, I have an idea which woodpecker it is, but I'm not 100% sure till I can get a better view.